How do you take just one line, a single line of poetry from, 2,700 years ago, and turn it into a story that just hits you right here, right now? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down today. We're looking at a screenplay called Daughters of Moab, Exile from the Arnon, and it takes an ancient prophecy and spins it into this incredibly raw drama about survival. All right, so let's get right into it. This right here, this is our source material. It's just one verse from the book of Isaiah, but wow, is it powerful. In English, it's something like, "For the daughters of Moab will be at the fords of the Arnon like a wandering bird cast out of the nest." I mean, you can just picture it, right? This feeling of being totally lost, totally vulnerable. And this single image, this is the tiny seed that the entire story grows from.
So what we're going to do in this explainer is look at how this short screenplay takes that one line and just explodes it. It builds this entire absolutely heart-wrenching world around it, literally giving flesh and blood to a metaphor that was written thousands of years ago. So where does a story like this even begin? Well, this screenplay doesn't waste a single second. I mean, from the opening shot, you are thrown right into the middle of this scene of just complete and utter desperation, right there on the banks of the Arnon River.
And the first thing you notice is that this isn't some grand battlefield. There are no clashing armies, no heroes, no. What we're seeing is the aftermath, the messy, terrifying, chaotic, human cost of war. These aren't soldiers, they're families, pushed to the absolute brink of everything they've ever known.
What's really clever here is how the screenplay builds this world of despair. We haven't even met a single character yet, but we're already right there. It's all done through these sensory details. You're not just reading about it, you are meant to feel it. You can almost hear that wind howling, you see the gray, muddy bleakness everywhere, and you can just sense the exhaustion and the fear hanging heavy in the air. And then you see it, that thin column of black smoke way off in the distance. It's such a small detail, but it's so important. It tells you everything, doesn't it? This isn't just a group of people trying to get across a river. No, these are people who have absolutely nothing to go back to. Their homes, their past, it's all gone up in smoke. Okay, so we have this huge, chaotic scene of just mass suffering. And from there, the story does something absolutely essential. It zooms in. It takes this giant, overwhelming tragedy and gives it one single human face. And we land on this one small, broken family. There's Leah, a young woman, probably only about 20, but you can see she's carrying the weight of the world. Then there's her little brother, Caleb, and her sick mother, Naamah. And just like that anonymous crowd, it isn't anonymous anymore. It's a deeply personal struggle. And her mother's words, which translate to something like, "I can't go on, Leah. The water is too strong." They just immediately set up this impossible situation. Think about it. The river is their only way out, their only path to maybe finding safety. But at the same time, it's this deadly, raging force that could just swallow them whole. But it's Leah's response that just nails their whole situation. It's quiet, almost like she's just saying it to herself. We must. We have nowhere to go back. And in those few words, you get it. You understand the terrifying trap they're in. The way forward could kill them, but the way back, it doesn't even exist anymore. And then, her little brother asks the simplest, most heartbreaking question you can imagine. When are we going home? And that one word, home, it just triggers this powerful flashback for Leah. And in that moment, we see exactly what they've lost. I mean, look at this contrast. It is just brutal. The script flashes back to this memory of a bright, sunlit day, a bird's nest full of life. And by putting that warmth and that life right up against the cold, gray, muddy reality of their present, man, it just makes their loss feel 1,000 times more painful. So that memory of the nest, it wasn't just some random flashback. It's the central symbol for this entire story. And right here, in this moment, that ancient prophecy becomes terrifyingly, literally real, right there at Leah's feet. Right in the middle of all this chaos, all of these people, the screenplay forces our attention down to this one tiny, devastating detail. A bird's nest. It's been knocked out of a tree, crushed into the mud, with broken eggshells scattered all around it. And the story just pauses. It makes us and Leah just stare at this broken thing. So you have to ask yourself, what does this nest really mean right now, in the middle of all this?
And in that one single image, Leah sees everything. She sees her own fate. She sees the fate of her people. The nest was home. The nest was safety. The nest was the future. And now, it's just destroyed. And she is the bird from the prophecy, cast out.
And that realization, that incredibly personal moment of seeing her whole story in that broken nest, that's what fuels what she does next. It's this desperate, final act that turns her from just another victim into this universal symbol of resilience. You know, there's no time left for crying. She just wipes her tears, her face gets hard with resolve. She grabs her mom and her brother, pulls them toward the river, and just steps into that freezing, raging current. There's no time for anything but action, no matter how hopeless it all seems. So as she's standing there, in the middle of the river, she's literally caught between two worlds. She looks back, and all she sees is the shore she just left, a past that's been burned to the ground, a home that's nothing more than a memory now. And then she looks forward, to the other side. And what's there? A completely unknown future. There are no promises, no guarantees of safety, just more struggle. She is suspended right in that moment between a past that is gone for good and a future that might not even be there for her.
And this is where the script brings it all home. Full circle. The final shot is a close-up on her face, and the description says it's like the face of a frightened bird cast out of the safety of its nest. The story lands on the exact image from that ancient prophecy, making it so real, so personal.
And that is the incredible power of a good story, right? It makes you feel the weight of that ancient metaphor across thousands of years. We started with these abstract words, a prophecy in an old book, and we end with the real, lived, terrifying experience of one young woman just trying to save her family. And because this story is so raw, so visceral, it forces us to ask a really modern question. The daughters of Moab aren't just some historical footnote. They're a mirror. They reflect the displaced people all around the world in our own time. And so it leaves you with this final, lingering thought. Where is the nest for today's exiles?